Furnace Golem Center. That's not too hard to do early, but not one that most players rush. Two Blessings of America again, like we saw in the previous one.
Mm-hmm.
Kill a boss with a +0 weapon. I do, I love to see that for uh, the Black Knight. Is usually the one that players will go for, which looking along this board, I don't see as well. So not maybe a huge synergy with it, but yeah, not too many other early game squares. 4 DLC talismans like we saw in the previous game. 3 DLC Spirit Ashes maybe is something that could be done fairly early. 3 unique NPC invaders, as we saw in the previous one, can be done early, but also some players choose to do it later.
Mm-hmm.
And then a lot of late game here. Definitely a lot of late game. We've got St. Trina. We have got the Aged One Exaltation that needs to take you towards Nidra. We've got Skadootree Avatar. We've got, what else do we have that's a little later here? Tree Sentinel Duo makes a little bit later. Romina. So this could be a long match. This could take us quite a while. Bale even while summoning Egon.
Yeah, this is a very interesting board. We do get to see Skadootree Avatar on the board. I feel like we haven't seen that in a really long time, so I think seeing a Skadootree Avatar fight would be really, really cool. I would really like to see a combination, and we do actually have it here, Skadootree Avatar and Killer Remembrance Boss with Remembrance Weapons, so seeing maybe that Sunflower come out, that'd be really, really nice. Killing Gaius with that would be really cool. But yeah, definitely a lot of late game. I definitely agree here. We have Euphoria, Jolanna, and Anna as well. Bale. There's quite a few things to consider looking at this board. Nothing necessarily screaming necessarily Great Katana or Backhand Blades. So I feel like this is going to come down to just like the player's playstyle. Like, okay, what do I feel the most comfortable with? For +0, however, I do think that Great Katana is going to be picked up here for certain just because of that innate bleed on it. And I think that might be a Black Knight boss kill. If that's my prediction right now, is a Black Knight boss kill with that Great Katana and Frost on it. Would be my guess here. 40 seconds left on the board for them to read and make sure that they have the right strategies going on and getting their whole character set up, maybe changing their flasks. But yeah, this is going to be...
they're both just ready. They're just ready and waiting. They're like, oh, 3 minutes? I don't need that. 2 minutes, maybe 2.5.
Yeah, I mean, you can definitely say that, but as you can see on their faces right now, they're both very heavily studying the board right now, making sure they don't miss any synergies, making sure they don't miss anything that could stick out as a quick pickup. This is a very interesting board, though, but just even for like the early game, because there really isn't much to lean into. So you're going like almost straight into prep, and then just going off of that. There is no cookbooks. There is no Sell Great Katana. There is no talismans. There is DLC Spirit Ashes, but that does still take a hot minute itself. It's not like the same with like Ashes of War. So yeah, I'm not really sure what we're gonna see here just yet, but it looks like both of them are running straight towards that Great Katana, going over this hill with the birds.
Yeah, definitely seems like a board that is going to benefit raw speed. I don't know that you can get any extreme advantages due to your planning as much in this as just go and get squares as fast as you can, because I just don't see any lines that are going to be rushable. I don't see any, big brain plays of you can combo this and that. So raw speed might be what takes it here, of just if I can get to each square a little bit faster than my opponent, grab it a little bit sooner, then that's going to slowly over time lead to a multi-square advantage. Aggie going for the backhand blade, not the katana. A little surprising, but that might be a comfort pick from him. He might just like that one better, whereas V-Swed, it looks like, is heading over to that Great Katana.
And there is also that Furnace Golem. I guess someone told him to go kick rocks, because that's exactly what he's doing towards Aggie right now. Just a full barrage of lava rocks being kicked towards him. Does get hit once, but he's going to be making his way towards that 3-path cross grace now. Whereas I think Swed now going for that Great Katana. And I really do wonder what their first pick is going to be. There is Acquire 2 Blessings of America that might be picked up here earlier than anything else, just because of the fact that there really isn't anything else for early game. So this might be a thing of like, okay, once I get the Fort Reprimand, might as well get the Blessings of America. Like, why wouldn't I? And I think that's a completely fair thing. I do think unique NPC invaders is definitely going to get picked up here very quickly as well, too.
Yeah, I can definitely see that early. If it were me on this board, I would rush the kill a boss with a +0 weapon. I think that, aside from just being very easy and quick to do, it sets you up with a lot of early runes. Like that Black Knight gives, I think it's somewhere around 100,000 runes, just for killing it. And so that's gonna help you set up everything that you need, get all of the different talismans and stuff, because while they do start with a good number of starting runes, it's not always enough to get every single thing that you're looking for. So I think, if it's a trade of 1 square to 1 square, I would rather have the boss kill as my 1 square to give me those extra runes and let me maybe snowball into more squares later.
Yeah, no, I definitely agree. I want to see what the plan is as well for the furnace golem, because there's a I wouldn't say a debate necessarily, but there is a bit of a of a thing of like, is it worth to go for the pot? Just like even the fire pot, you don't have to go for the furnace pot necessarily, but just for the fire pot that's in Scorched Ruins. There's a recipe right there with the hefty pot anyways. Is it worth just investing resources into that, getting 1 stagger, and then throwing the pot into the head after the stagger? Or is it really just worth the time to just do the double stagger instead, just do full melee on the Furnace Golem? I don't think necessarily that there is a definite answer to that just yet, but I know that Aggie prefers melee only, and I would like to see what V-Sweat prefers, if he thinks that the hefty pot is worth the time just to get that kill a little bit quicker, or more or less just 1 stagger, 1 and done type situation.
Yeah, what are all the materials that are required for that fire pot? Would you be able to get them quickly? Because obviously the ruins is not very far to get to, but if you have to get some later materials, I could see why players would prefer to avoid that.
That's a good question. I am not 100% sure. I know it's the black firefly is one of them. Beyond that, no idea. I think also the red mushrooms. I think the red flesh mushrooms might be part of the fire pots, but I also might be wrong. I'm not too sure either. I don't have it fully memorized. Oh my god, my light just. Okay, hold on.
Oh,
I got.
well,
blessed
chat will tell
from
us
the
in
sky.
5 minutes. Holy. Oh no.
Yeah, I don't know. Sometimes for some reason my lights malfunction. They just go full brightness, and just blast my eyeballs. But we fixed it. I think Blessings of America just got picked up from Aggie here. Is that right?
From Aggie, he's going for the second one now. Yep, he's heading towards that church, so he will probably... Oh, V-Sweat also going for it. Might be a race here, but Aggie definitely in the lead. If so, no, V-Sweat just grabbing it for a little efficiency and moving on. He's not going for the boss at a +0 weapon, so where is he going then? What is his plan?
Yeah, that is
intrigued.
interesting. That is definitely very interesting. I was definitely expecting either or, but instead he's not going for any of them. Maybe going for a bit more setup with Skidoo fragments first, because it is a +0. Or maybe he's thinking a +0, but he's going to do it with Dane rather than the Black Knight.
Oh, it could be. I am not a fan of Dane at +0. He is a tricky
mean.
one. Yeah, he is mean. Whereas that Black Knight, all you got to do is just crouch, poke, poke, crouch, poke, poke, and that's about it. So I if he's going for Dane, this could be a chance to get stuck, but maybe also a chance to make a huge play. If he is very comfortable with Dane and he gets him very quickly, that could be pretty huge. But Aggie now also has a chance to maybe take away the +0 weapon if he knows how to get the Black Knight with backhand blades. If he gets both of these early game squares, that will be a large advantage here in the early game.
Yeah, the Blessings of America being marked by Aggie now. 1-0 currently on the board. Going to go straight for upgrading the backhand blades now. Sweat going to go for the Skidoo fragment here at Highland Cross. And then I guess we'll see if he's still thinking about doing +0 Dane.
Yeah, if he gets the Skidoo, goes back for the Black Knight, and kills it a little faster because of it, because Aggie was not going for the same thing, that could actually be pretty big brain, right? As we said, you get the runes from it, so you would get the advantage. He is going back to Fort of Reprimand. So this might just be, a very big brain play, saying, oh, I think Aggie's going to go for those Blessings of America instead, and I think I have time to get it first. And if it works, this is going to be huge.
Yeah, and here it is. Aggie currently also at Fort Reprimand, but did upgrade the backhand blade, so he doesn't even he can't even really lean into that anymore. But Sweat here going for the money first.
Yeah, not even grabbing that Grace there up at the top. That's very surprising.
Going to be grabbing possibly the DLC Spirit Ash. Not even grabbing the Spirit Ash.
Oh,
What is going on?
interesting. Is he going to upgrade his weapon? Don't tell me they both just forego it.
I think they both might just be like, you know what, I'll do this later. The +0 square is a bit of a time sink trap, I would say. So I kind of understand this play from both players being like, you know what, if you want to do +0, go for it, but it takes forever. And that square, honestly, on the board, doesn't have a lot of presence. It's not a corner square. It's not a center square. There's no real reason to really push that very heavily. You could easily go for NPC invaders here with an upgraded weapon and Skidoo fragments. You could easily go for, you know, Dragon Hearts or anything else that is just way easier to execute on and having a stronger character than just pretty much nerfing yourself for 4 minutes just to deal with a less than perfect square position.
Okay, now what is Swed doing back here in Fort of Reprimand? Did he realize he forgot the pickups, or oh yeah, he's going for the Talisman down at the bottom. Ah, of course. So it looks like that is going to be his next goal, is these Talismans.
Yeah, going for that acquire for DLC Talismans here, like we saw in the last match. Gonna be grabbing that. I want to say it's Flame Drake, Fire Drake, Flame Drake. Flame Drake Talisman 3. You know, it was kind of silly. They upgraded every single resistance talisman in the game, the DLC, but still no 5th talisman pouch. I do not understand. Makes no sense. Why did you not give us a 5th pouch? There is an empty slot in the inventory. It looks weird. There's a gap. It annoys me. Like, I feel like especially for how difficult the DLC. Oh, and Swed dying to fall damage here.
Yeah, that's not quite the jump. You have to do it from a specific spot, and you have to land on kind of the slightly higher rock. Or there are other ways to do it. You can do it from a little bit further up, and it can be a little bit more lenient. But yeah, if you're gonna do it from that spot, you have to land on the rock. And I don't know. Hopefully he knows that.
He's gonna die again to fall damage.
Oh yeah,
here.
yeah. This is not the spot. But that is not it.
Confused.
He is confused.
You have to land on that ledge right there. You can't drop down from where he is. But what I was mentioning, yeah, with the DLC, like with it being so difficult, a 5th talisman pouch would have made sense. I feel like just for extra damage. But I guess Skidoo fragments do kind of make up for that. Aggie here going to go for that Queelan Invader now. Going to be going for unique NPC invaders, like I mentioned. That's definitely an easy pickup here, especially with he's going for Frost backhand blades, not the bleed backhand blades. Jesus, that's
interesting.
a hard phrase.
Yeah, he might just know that maybe he knows which bosses are less resistant to it. Queeline got frosted very, very quick, so you know, probably seems pretty good on Queeline at the very least, and maybe on several other of the bosses.
The flame skewer move and Queeline being able to hyper armor is disgusting. It is very, very frustrating to sometimes deal with that. But it looks like Swed now currently making his way towards Oh Mother here.
Yep, doing that little skip, making sure to land on the rock, making sure that the game counts him as landed. Ooh, I was scared as he slipped off that lower rock, but lives. Gets Oh Mother, and so he is going to have better map presence here and possibly a stronger weapon. I do really like the Great Katana, but no squares yet to show for it.
Oh, it's got to be a little careful here. For sure, for sure. Aggie here going for Queeline, gets the first one. Going to go straight into more, I believe, for his second one right away. There is no healing the Kindred, so it might as well go ahead.
He did also get a Talisman from Queeline, so that could help him catch up in that Talismans. I think that's his first one of the DLC, but once he finished with this, there are several other that you can gather very quickly.
So right here, grabbing the Churchwater District most likely is not a bad call with the Skidoo Tree Avatar on the board. With Spirit Ashes on the board, because you could do that with Queeline if you really wanted to, but also getting access to Fire Knight Hilda and the rafts. On top of that, Tree Spirits that is on the board as well. So and also the masks. Having the back axis of Shadowkeep here is definitely a really good idea. I think just overall opening up the map for yourself a little bit more. And speaking of more, we do have more currently on Aggie's screen, getting in that Frost proc. And there's that 1R1 that more does that just does an insane amount of damage.
Yeah, we are seeing definitely slower than you would have had with the Great Katana for killing more. You can kind of stagger lock more with the Great Katana, but those backhand blades, they are not it against shields. They just bounce off, and you are just sitting there for more to bash you.
Yeah, it does get smacked around here and there. Luckily, that Ash of War does no damage.
Yes.
Constantly gets bounced back here. This is where Blind Spot actually is really effective because Blind Spot does go behind the shield. So using that Blind Spot Ash of War should be utilized here just a little bit more. But still a decent fight here from Aggie. Has to be careful not to take more damage. I'm saying a lot of more.
More?
Accidentally. But who can argue with a little bit more of more? And there goes more. Grabbing the more armor and the more shield. That is the more
and
invader.
one more NPC invader.
And almost one more square on this board here for Aggie. That's something. For sure. And yeah, I wonder what Sweat is thinking here now because it's been a while. Talismans hasn't been taken yet, and he kept on messing up that jump down to the Magma Talisman because I think he was trying to rush Talismans, and that's still not marked. And so now he's currently just in the Churchwater district going for the possible lowering of the water and then also the back section Shadowkeep Grace. Maybe just waiting out to see what to do next.
Yeah, I would have liked to see Swed, grab that talisman on the way up to Fort of Reprimand because there wasn't really anything that he was rushing now. I mean, maybe he was trying to rush Blessing America and just ended up not getting it before Aggie, but it doesn't feel like he's really set himself up for something to get super early. He's getting into the later stuff, which is great, but you know, I would have loved to see at least one square here early. Get yourself on the board. You know, finish your setup a little bit after that because he's now behind by 2 squares at this point and does not have that many DLC talismans or much else to show for it.
Yeah, this is going to be interesting now. Aggie going to be going for the Ancient Dragon Man here. Does have 2 Dragon Hearts on the board, so maybe looking at that road 2,
yes.
Which is the same play that we saw from Bushy last match of going for that Magma Worm into the Jagged Peak Drake. That might be something that we see, not right now apparently, but maybe later as Aggie is currently leaving the cave. Water was lowered here for V-Sweat. He should see that Unique NPC Invaders was taken now, and he might go grab that back section Grace in Shadowkeep, and then maybe still go for Talismans?
Yeah. Talismans is kind of the only one here on the board that I really feel like both of them could be set up for. Both of them could go for right now. Very unfortunate for V-Swed. He gets sniped out of the air as he was going for that Skidoo fragment, so he will not get that, and he has to make his way over to the Sunflower instead. I think he was attempting to go to the main path of Shadowkeep instead, but a little consolation prize, a little Sunflower access. I doubt we're going to see him go for that super early. What he could do is he could get the Flame Spear, the Ash of War, from the Winged Serpent Helm person. I don't know their name. And that absolutely shreds the Sunflower. You can take out the Sunflower almost entirely skipping the Phase 2 and the Phase 3 just by getting that Flame Spear and using it effectively.
And interestingly, we see actually a very early, I want to say, Furnace Golem here from Aggie with the backhand blades. Going straight for that melee option. Already got his first stagger here. Really, really interesting. Did not expect it this early.
I'm not too surprised because it's at least something that you can do early. Obviously, it does take a while for this, but it's in a great position on the board, and it's something that you do have access to. You don't have to go set up for 10 minutes before you do a square. You can just say, well, I'm going to do this one. Sure, it's going to take me 3 minutes to kill the golem because it just takes forever, but I have something to do right now and something to grab. So I like this as a play for sure, getting that middle square.
Yeah, it's probably going to be a very strong play as well, going for this. It's going to take a little bit as it's still pretty early into the match, so you're not going to have the same damage output, but does get that first stagger right away already. Goes for that first riposte, and should just have to go for that second stagger now, and then that first golem will be taken care of. And that's going to open up that column 3 and just open up the whole board pretty much for Aggie here.
Yes. Yeah, blocks both diagonals, blocks the middle row and middle column. Like, that middle square is so valuable for blocking or for setting up your own threats. And as soon as Aggie gets this here, he's going to be in a pretty commanding spot as far as the board is concerned, even if he doesn't have quite as much map opened up yet.
Very, very nice. Sweat here currently working on talismans now. Just grab that Blade of Mercy and Scorched Runes. And I think this might be a good call from Swed.
He's going for it again. Is he going to the rock? No, you cannot make it from there. Oh, Sweat.
He has to land on that ledge side.
Yep. At this point, he could honestly go around from the front of the of the fort if he really needs to, if he's not confident on where to drop down here, because you cannot do it just anywhere. He's got it now.
There we go.
There we go.
And the Furnace Golem shall fall here in just a moment. There it is.
Killed it without the riposte, honestly.
He almost didn't need that second riposte, but ends up getting it. Oh, double mark by both players at the same time. They now know what each other have been working on to this point, but Sweat does have all this progress through the back of Shadow Keep that Aggie might not be suspicious of yet. He might not know that, because DLC Talismans does not mean that you had to go through that back section. So Sweat getting map progress that's kind of hidden at this point. That could be a big advantage coming in later if he can, end up getting a lot of things that Aggie does not expect back to back.
I'm not gonna lie, the row 5, genuinely not a bad idea with talismans here. With Sweat having access to Churchwater District, he can go for the helms. He can go for Devonia's hammer.
Yeah.
He can go for a giant lightning ram. I mean, both could necessarily, but still, like, that row 5 could be a kind of a nice little pressure point here for Sweat to kind of get some pressure of his own on the board.
And it's a sleeper one too. It's one that you can make progress to all of those without letting your opponent know anything.
Yep.
If he cleared one catacomb, if he got progress through Enir Ilim up to Devonia, if he acquired 2 of the helms, then killed the rolling giant lightning ram, I don't know that Aggie could stop any of the other threats. He could completely rush that row if Aggie is not paying attention. It's like you said, sometimes one square is enough that you have to be careful and you have to start thinking about blocking.
Yep. And here's going to be probably Dragon Hearts for Aggie as he's currently working on this magma worm in the cave. And that was actually one thing that, like, a chatter brought up, which I didn't think about until right now, because I remember talking about the magma worm and, like, how is the magma worm here in this small cave? And forgetting that magma worms are actually humans that ate too many Dragon Hearts. And this maybe being that someone brought up, like, hey, this could actually be a person that walked into this cave knowing they're turning into a magma worm. So that's why the pathway is so small, but the cave is so large. Because they're like, if I'm turning, I'm going to get away from everybody else, and I'm going to turn in this small cave and turn into a magma worm. And I think that's kind of a cool
It could also
tidbit.
be maybe that he was trying to dig his way out. You see that, like, hole that you exit from? Maybe once he turned into the magma worm, he was trying to, like, dig his way out and didn't quite make the hole big enough yet to fit out of there.
Yeah, very, 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 like, small tidbit, but it's very interesting. It's kind of cool when games have things like that. You can, like, kind of think about it. There is a Dragonheart here though for Aggie, and a jail for V-Swed now. Very interesting. I think that's actually not a bad idea. This is actually a really smart play from V-Swed because it does block that row 2, but also Aunts and the other jail, the Bonnie jail, both drop Spirit Ashes. That would block row 1, column 3. So you're going to be clearing jails and also getting DLC Spirit Ashes at the same time. And that is kind of a nice little synergy play here.
Yeah, and you can get a torch in one of the jails as well, right?
Yeah.
The Lamenter jail.
Yeah, the Lamenter one.
So I don't know if he would go for the Lamenter jail necessarily, but if he does, there is synergy there as well.
Definitely not a bad idea at all. I definitely like this for sure. This is a really nice call from Swed. Recognizing the synergy and then playing into it for a double block potentially is really, really smart here. ADM for Aggie now. Going to be getting those Frost procs off. Got to be careful with the Dragon Maw. That can one-shot anything. I'm like almost 100% certain it doesn't matter how many resistances you have. And if you have Ritual Shield, that Dragon Maw is genuinely going to always one-shot you. And Swed making it across the...
Swed, he's got it.
The staircase? What the
heck?
heck?
The little skip. Yeah, you can jump on things as they are starting to crumble. It's very difficult to do, but not impossible.
Very
I don't know if it
cool.
saved him much, but yeah, very cool.
Wow, I've never seen that. That was really sick. I like that a lot. Yeah, that was definitely, I want to say at least like a 20-second time save because you have to go through the whole jar maze otherwise.
Oh, you're right. You do skip the whole jar maze. No, yeah, that is a big time save. That is
really cool.
Wow.
There it is. Ancient Dragon Man dead now for Aggie. On's now on the screen for V-Swed. This guy being a bit of a menace. If you guys have seen the Ada versus Blanks match, Blanks having a little bit of a hard time with Ons. We don't get to see him too often. When he does show up, he is not very nice to the players. And
Swed just abusing the jump, going over Onze's attacks, and that's a very nice strat. I'm gonna steal that.
Yeah, that's actually working out
really
really well.
Yeah, look at this.
Oh, okay.
We may have jinxed it. He's got it.
Wow, yeah, that worked out really, really well. That's one jail and one Spirit Ash now for Swed. Very nice fight for him. And is he going to rush straight to Bonnie jail is the question.
I don't know that I would love to see that. I feel like maybe, somewhere else you keep that priority for a little bit because it's not a fast square to go straight to those jails. But we'll see what he does go for. It looks like he is heading towards Bonnie at the very least.
Yeah, I think he is considering that Bonnie jail. I mean, it would be a really good pressure point. You have 2 jails, and then you go straight into picking up that 3rd DLC Spirit Ash at Fort Reprimand. The Mesmer soldiers, and you can't block. You can't stop that. You can't stop that at all. That's going to be a nice double block here from Swed, most likely. Oh, he missed a little jump down here. Oh, it's going a little bit of a different angle. Still worked. Very nice.
Yep.
And Aggie here grabbing Oh Mother, by the way, making his way to Churchwater District now himself. So they're both kind of catching up on each other's map progress. The only thing that Swed has to do now is kill ADM if he really wants the same southern region access as Aggie does right now.
Yeah, ending up as really just trading squares. They really have not gone for the same things at all yet. Aside from maybe a little bit of DLC talismans, I think Aggie had a bit of progress on that, but otherwise they're executing their own game plans. They are executing them well, and this is just such an interesting board where there's no clear early game rushes. Oh, Swed skipping the Grace in Bonnie Jail? He's that confident? All right.
Oh boy,
all right,
oh boy. I don't know how I feel about that.
I do not like it. I say always pick up the Graces because you just never know what's gonna happen. But he's confident, so
yeah, always pick up the Graces just in cases because death is always around the corner, especially for some of these jails.
Yeah, he did not pick up the Bonnie Village Grace either. I'm pretty sure. So if he dies, he's back to Morth. He is losing so much, but not the most dangerous jail, but every jail has possibilities of falling to your death or various other things. So I'm concerned for him. I'm watching Swed intently here. Make sure he does not get hit by this pot guy.
What's going to be really interesting, the good thing for Swed here, though, is like once he does get to the boss fight, there is a Stake of America. So, I mean, there's at least that.
Yes.
But it's just getting there. I mean, honestly, if this was Lamenter Jail, I'd be way more worried because of those screaming freaks that deal like insane AoE damage. But in this case, honestly, I think he's good to go. He just has to do a couple more drop downs, and he'll be there.
This does also mean you're locked in. So in the
Yep.
in the rare case, but the possible case that you get a little stuck here, you have to pivot. If you do have to pivot, you've got no grace here again. You're just like not going to be able to come back pretty much at all. So that would be a huge disaster. He has to get this, or else it's going to be very, very bad.
Aggie's still progressing through the church district here. Going to be getting that back section grace here very soon as well. Going to be lowering the water, I'm assuming, as well to get access to that Skidoo tree avatar and to these tree spirits, the two that are here. And here's the fight. The Curse Blade, no armor versus the Curse Blade is a little scary. I'm not going to lie. These guys, even though they're not that tanky, deal a lot of damage.
Yeah, I think he's got the blue dancer charm, so it is a ton of extra damage for being effectively naked here. And you can just see it there, like huge damage on each of these hits. It almost doesn't even seem like he might not need to heal. He can just kind of almost trade hits and win with how much damage he's got.
Yeah, that's
so I kind of love this.
Wow.
Oh, yeah.
Really nice fight here from Sweat. Gets that jail now. Going to be getting that Curse Blade Ash of War on top of that. Goes straight probably to Fort Reprimand. Going to be grabbing that third DLC third DLC Spirit Ash. Going to be blocking row 1 and column 3 at the same time. That's going to be really, really nice from Sweat here.
Yeah, you know, I gave a little criticism. I'll put it out there. I wasn't sure about this jail play, but now that it's working out, I see what it is, and I think this is working out really, really well for him. So it's gonna even up the squares. Map progress is gonna be very close to even, as Aggie is working on ulcerated tree spirits.
I do wonder if he'll ever grab that damn Greystone Fort Reprimand instead of constantly doing the same run back. He would
Constantly having to do this.
He would have saved so much time. But there it is. 3 DLC Spirit Ashes. Gets that other mark. And Aggie going for Tree Spirits here. Very interesting. Okay. Tree Spirits are going to be activating that row 3-ish.
Yeah, it seems like both of them are basically fighting for... There's only a few squares that don't require a ton of progress throughout the map, and they're kind of just fighting for basically scraps here, where at some point they're going to need to go through, you know, the entirety of Rau, or the entirety of, you know, these different areas in order to just even get access to be able to have catacombs. You need to be able to get to Jory. In order to get Tree Sentinel Duo, you need to go through the entire backside, etc., etc. Like, everything just feels so far away on this particular board.
Yeah, it's kind of tough now looking at the board, like what to really go for next. I mean, there's Tree Sentinel Duo, which you can kind of pull off if you're going to be going for Gaius anyways with Killer Remembrance Boss and with a Remembrance Weapon. Kind of activate maybe that column 4. I'm still saying that row 5 for Sweat is still really strong here. He's got to really lean into that. I think that wouldn't be a bad idea at all. But also, Queeline in Bellerot is...
Oh, yes.
not that crazy and kind of fast if you kind of like bulldoze your way that way, but there really isn't anything beyond the Queeline and Bellerot here. So
I think I might love to see Skidoo Tree Avatar gets you the Sunflower, and then maybe use that in Bellurat to kill the Dancing Lion while also getting Queeline there as well. Might be an interesting sort of play. You know, several squares there, kind of back to back to back, if you can get it.
could also grab the Sunflower, and then while you are going to be using it for another fight, is +0 actually, and use that maybe on the Black Knight.
Ooh. Yeah.
Wouldn't be the worst idea. If anything,
I don't know if it'd be better than the Great Katana though, because the Great Katana does at least have that bleed, which at +0 is still very powerful.
True. Counterpoint. Ghost Flame Dragon, because it has holy damage.
Ooh. Dragon of +0. That still seems tough.
It still seems tricky. Don't get me
be.
wrong. It's +0 is going to be tricky regardless. But I think if
Yeah.
you are going to have that option, I don't think that's the worst idea. You know what I mean? But then again, like we mentioned, +0 is a bit of a trap here. Especially now in the later game where you could kind of forfeit some faster squares. And Aggie going for Helms after getting 2 Tree Spirits. I think this is a really good setup from Aggie here too. Recognizing the possible diagonal with the Masks, Skidoo Tree Avatar, Tree Sentinel duo, that all being Church Water District area, and then just having to push that Euphoria potentially.
Yeah. A lot there, a lot in the back for sure. And if Aggie can set up for all of these and kind of take them back to back to back, that'll put him on a big advantage here.
Looking very, very, very nice. Yeah, this is okay. I think Sweat Hover recognizes that and is now making his way towards the Loft Grace himself. We'll have some nice priority actually currently for Gaius and Mesmer. Yeah, please, Sweat, please pick that Grace. Thank you.
It almost looked like he was gonna skip that. Man. I was gonna lose my mind if he skipped that.
I know skipping Graces is kind of fast, but you know you do need that one at least if you want to do Mesmer and Gaius.
Yes.
Which I think
there is no exact reason to do Gaius here, is there? Aside from maybe the chance at a remembrance weapon, or
that's pretty much it. That's pretty much it. But I would rather do Skidoo and then use the flower on Gaius. That'd be way nicer, I think, than using actually the Sword Lance. Sadly, the Sword Lance
he is heading towards
useful.
Gaius now. Oh, he might be doing Tree Sentinel duo. Which that is a reason you would need to go over towards Gaius, is towards that Tree Sentinel duo. So I think that could be a good block, and not that long of a square once you get there. Obviously, going through the entire keep to get there took a little while, but that's progress for later, and the actual time of the Tree Sentinel duo is not that long, so I could see that being a pretty good play here.
Aggie back in the Churchwater district. What is he doing back here? Here he lowered the water and everything.
But he didn't go up into the actual Shadow Keep, I believe, yet.
I thought he just did. Am I crazy? Maybe he didn't. Yeah, maybe you're right, actually.
I think he just went towards the Sunflower and got the Sunflower Grace.
Okay, so this might be actually, I guess, a little bit of a misplay from Aggie, though, because, like, right after getting the mask from the Death Mask, you can just use the elevator and then go up. You don't have to go all the way back to the Grace and run all the way around. There's an elevator near the Death Mask guy that brings you up to one of the Fire Knights. So this is a little bit of a time sink.
That would have been a little bit better of routing to do that first and then go get the Sunflower Grace if you wanted after. But
either way, we're getting some nice progression from both players here. And I do think this might be Tree Sentinel from Sweat. I think this is a really good thing from Sweat, possibly recognizing that diagonal, being like, oh, everything on this diagonal besides Euphoria requires Churchwater District. And as soon as I say that, he pivots. So
he pivots. Yep.
Classic. Good old pivot on that one. Now Aggie making his way up to the loft as well. And looks like Swed might be going for Mesmer?
Or
why are we back
Where is he going?
He doesn't need Ashes anymore. He already has...
Oh?
He doesn't need Fire Knight Hilda, so why are we going this way again?
It has to be Mesmer, but why would you go this direction to Mesmer?
I don't know.
No, this is...
No, he's going to Mesmer.
It's not Gaius again?
No, he's going to drop down here now, and this is going to be Mesmer here. But still, that's a weird...
That is a strange pathing, yeah.
Yeah, I think he's just really comfortable with that one side, so I think he just keeps he just keeps doing that.
It's probably for the winged Serpent Helm as well as Flame Spear here. Yep, he is buffing up before this fight, so he is going to go for this. It is allowed to cheese these guys off of the edge, so I might have wanted to see him use some a little bit of a kukri distraction and take him down, but right now he's just moving through and getting the Grace here.
A little bit hard to see with the quit out screen the whole time, but he might still go for the fight. Oh, he does not. He actually resets. Okay. Somehow still gets hit with the after effects. Oh, okay. Game's kind of weird.
He could still go for it. Maybe just go for a backstab to start the fight. Feel a little more comfortable coming from the backside instead of from the front side.
Yeah.
And he will.
Grabs that Skidoo fragment. Yeah, going to go for that sneaky backstab here on the Winged Serpent, whereas Aggie going to be just running in, bulldozing it out with the backhand blades, going for that running R2. Goes for a nice blind spot here. This is a little bit of a race on masks, although Aggie does have a little bit of a head start with that death mask helm.
Yeah, Aggie working on his second, Swed only on his first, so this could be a snipe here from Aggie that's going to waste a good bit of Swed's time, although you really do want this Flame Spear regardless so that you can do Skadutri Avatar in the future.
Nice fight here from
Oh!
V-Swed. Aggie does get
Aggie
punctured here.
grabbed?
I didn't even know she had a grab
Living?
attack. Oi!
Oh my, how is he living?
Oh,
not
gets tagged at the
anymore.
very end there. Okay, now this is interesting because both have one mask, and Swed is making his way currently towards Salsa.
Yes.
I do
If
wonder.
Swed does get this one first, that'll be pretty big. That'll be a pretty big swing here. It will block that diagonal that we were talking about. That is a very scary diagonal. It will set up for 2 lines of his own. It'll set up for both column 5 and row 5. So he could put on a lot of pressure. Come on, Aggie. Come on.
Those flame spears are quick, man. They're genuinely
Yeah.
really, really fast. Like, you think you have a little bit more time to dodge, but it comes out so quickly. Okay, he does get possibly the knockdown here. Oh, he does get too many attacks that he has to deal with. Yeah, that after effect is so cool, but so devastating. I really wish that was an Ash of War. Oh,
It
and
would
they
be cool.
healed her. The little shadow guys healed the Fire Knight.
Wait, that happens?
Yeah, one of them has a healing spell.
I never knew that. I've never seen that before.
Yeah, here we go, though. Maybe he does get some nice pushback. Should go for a blind spot here. Goes for running R2s instead.
Oh, blind spot would have been scary when she is at the edge because then you can just kind of launch yourself off. So
True.
I like him not going for that.
Blind spot. There it is.
Ah, beautiful.
There we
beautiful.
go. That's the second helm here for Aggie. Now going to be grabbing that Fire Serpent helm and the Flame Spear. Going straight to back section. Going to drop down here to first floor. Going to go for Salsa as well. Yeah. By the way,
definitely gonna have
chat,
a race here. This is gonna be rough.
if you're having a good time, might as well grab some snacks. Grab some chips and salsa.
Ah,
Aha, aha. All right, now wait for Dazzle Cringe in 5 minutes. And yeah, by the way, though, chat, if you are enjoying this match, be sure to go ahead and either get Twitch Turbo, subscribe, or use a Prime to not have any ads during this match time so you don't miss any of this sweet, sweet Bingus action. As we currently have a bit of a race currently on Helms.
oh, Sweat is playing it way too careful. He says, I want to get this Grace first before fighting her, fight her from the back. That's going to lose him so much time. I think Aggie will very handily get this this square if Sweat is going to play it this safely.
I think Sweat was hoping she would fall down the elevator
Oh,
while he
that
was
might
going
be it,
up.
yeah.
I think that was his plan there, and sadly, she kind of backed off at the staircase instead of going for the aggressive approach and falling down the shaft.
Oh, he's even sending the elevator up. I think he's very scared of Salza, which is fair. She's got some stuff.
She's scary. She can definitely. Oh, okay. Goes for the
He
gravity.
is going for the gravity, which is close to working.
There it is.
Oh, there it is. Okay.
Should be getting the mask here and the spell.
is.
There it is. Rain of Fire. Going straight
I
to
don't know
Church
that he has
District.
time to get the last one, though, before Aggie gets Salsa. Aggie is right there. Very, very close.
Yeah, this is depending on how this goes for Aggie, this might be a huge snipe on Aggie's part for Mask, and this is going to really activate that diagonal. I think this is going to go from a Mask race into a Skadutri Avatar race, if I'm being honest.
Ooh, could be. Although, you know, Sweat doesn't have to be too careful because he has access to Tree Sentinel Duo, so I don't think it'll necessarily end the match with a line, but it would be very scary in terms of that's a lot of squares.
Yeah. Nice
And Aggie
stagger here.
looks like he has it right here.
He's got it. There it is. There it is. Masks for Aggie. Gonna grab that Ancient Rao Grace. And maybe then port straight to Skadutri Avatar. Here's the thing, though, for Aggie compared to V-Swed, is that Aggie has backhand blades. He can't really use Flame Spear.
Yes. So Swed probably does not know that, but if you are, you could leave Skadutri honestly very late because just Aggie does not have nearly as good of a weapon for it. But you know, we'll have to see. He's going for the Tree Sentinel duo, which does block that diagonal. I do think that's a good play. Just take it out of the way. Don't have to worry about it. Don't have to get into some weird races for Euphoria or anything. But yeah, it's a back and forth match so far for sure. But I think I like Aggie's position a little bit more with that 1 square lead and some progress around the map.
Tree Sentinel duo definitely going to be, at the very least, a nice block here. And I think Aggie is thinking the same thing, though, as he's currently taking the elevator down now.
Ooh. So this kind of being a snipe and wasting Aggie's time could be quite nice. Aggie could also go for Gaius for a remembrance weapon, but you know, that feels a little wasteful on time right now at the very least. So I don't expect we'll see it.
Yeah, I agree. I definitely agree. Nice stagger here, though.
Ooh, yes.
Using that overhead stance as much as possible.
He's really keeping his stamina very low. Finally having a chance to get some back. And a Frost proc does it.
That's the first one here. Going to be working towards the second one. This is going to be a little bit of a time waste then for Aggie, actually, because there really isn't anything beyond the Tree Sentinel duo.
Yeah. So Swed, you know, doesn't really have to worry about doing this too quickly as long as he doesn't die. All this time is just time equally wasted for Aggie. If Swed takes an extra 10 seconds, then Aggie's wasting an extra 10 seconds as well.
Yep. So far, really good fight here from Swed. Should be getting a stagger here very soon. One more R1 should do it. There it is. Nice stagger. Doesn't go for the charge R2, though. That's a shame.
Yeah, a little surprising, but maybe he just kind of already queued it up. That happens sometimes.
Yeah, sometimes the buffered in attacks. Gets kicked in the face.
Oh, I hate when that happens. You're ready for the shield. You're like, all right, I got the timing perfect for the shield, and then the horse's feet just smack into you.
Those hooves do be huge. I mean, there are very big horses, and they're armored. I wonder how heavy
Yeah,
the
I
armor
would not want to be
is.
kicked with that.
Yeah.
I mean, it's got to be hundreds of pounds, maybe even. Like, it is. That's a lot of armor.
It's a lot of armor. Aggie doing a lot of damage here, though, with those backhand blades. Kind of catching up, but he does only have 1 Tree Sentinel, whereas this is the last Tree Sentinel here for V-Swed.
And looks like that'll do it for V-Swed. There's the square. They'll both know, and I wonder where they're both going to go. We could end up with them sort of both going the same spot and having a race here, or entirely different spots.
I think this might be a Skidoo tree. Yeah, there it is.
Looks like it.
Okay, and Aggie not going for the Skidoo tree now. He's thinking, okay, you know what? I'm going to... Ancient Rao.
Ramana is there. Devonia is there. Those are the only 2 I see.
Okay,
at the very least.
I see something. The diagonal here. The diagonal. Romina, and then you have Dragon Hearts and Bale while summoning Igon with Lightning Ram. That diagonal is nice.
That is scary. I did not even notice that, but that is very scary. Yeah. If Aggie rushes straight for that, Swed is going to be in trouble because I don't think Swed has gone through Ancient Dragon Man yet. So those Dragon Hearts and Bale, he's going to have a hard time contesting. So if Aggie gets Romina and the rolling giant lightning ram, that could spell curtains for it.
Here comes the tree skip here from Aggie. Gets a nice little tree skip. Swed not going for the Skidoo tree now. Actually pivoted back out of it. Going to go for Ancient Dragon Man.
Oh, maybe he has noticed it. Maybe he says, I see that diagonal, and I need to start working on some of those dragons. Yeah, I think that's pretty smart here of him to recognize this biggest threat and start to work on it.
This may actually reach, I would say, this is going to be a majority game. I don't think it's going to be a bingo line game.
Yeah, it's a little early to say for sure, but it's definitely one of those boards where it would be hard to rush a line too much. So I think majority is likely.
Nah, I'm calling it right now, Mitch. I'm calling it right now.
All right.
That's I'm locking it in.
All right.
Now, what are you thinking though, Mitch? Give me a prediction on this. What's the outcome feeling like?
I I think it probably will be a majority game, but I think we're not done with the threats of lines yet. I think the
Yeah.
threats of lines is going to lead somebody into a 1 or 2 square lead that's going to snowball into the end. I don't think, that it's going to be, oh, both of them ignore lines. I think we're going to have those threats of lines make somebody have a big difference. So I think whoever can get a handle on getting threats of lines first, I think is going to be in a great spot.
Okay, what's a prediction here? What you think is going to be one of the last squares on the board? Because I have a bit of an interesting choice.
Last squares on the board. Honestly, I think it would be kind of funny, but it might be kill a boss with a +0 weapon.
That's
They
exactly
actually
what I
might
was thinking.
Save that until the very end. Very funny because it's usually something that you see, first, second, third, but it really could be the final one.
I could totally see that. We do have, by the way, for Aggie here now, the progression towards Romina is really nice because he can also kind of like send priority towards the sort of light and darkness here, with the altar being pretty nearby.
Yeah, yeah. And as well, Devonia's hammer. V-Swed will have to know that Aggie can get those two back to back if he chooses.
Does Aggie go straight for Romina right now? And
Looks
he does.
like it. He's heading in.
And he does. This is going to be really interesting because if Sweat already recognized that diagonal, he's already looking at Dragon Hearts, I believe. He didn't kill the Magma Worm yet, but at least killing Ancient Dragon Man is going to give him access that he needs for, maybe even column 4.
Yeah, yeah. Ooh, I would like to see. It would be hard for him to get Devonia's hammer first, I think. So it might be hard for him to actually get that column 4. But if he finds a way, if Aggie maybe leaves Devonia's hammer, says, "Oh, I've got priority, you're not going to go for it," and Swed snipes it away, that could be very scary for Aggie. Oh, every time that somebody tries to dodge that the big dragon head chomp on Ancient Dragon Man,
yeah.
I get so scared.
Yeah.
You could just run around him. You can kind of treat it almost like, waterfowl or one of those other attacks that you just kind of circle around the enemy for and they just miss you. And every time somebody stands in front like a deer in headlights waiting for the dodge, I am so scared for them.
Really nice fight here, though, from Aggie. Ancient Dragon Man dead for V-Sweat now, too. GG's to him. This is, and I think now Sweat is making his way towards Romina.
Ooh.
As he just ported to Ancient Rao.
If he's instead going for Devonia's hammer, and he says, okay, well, I have access to Dragon Hearts, I'm going to get Devonia's hammer, could be really threatening that column 4. I would like to see that if that is what he's going for.
Although he might be setting himself up to be sniped, as Aggie already has one Dragon Heart with that Magma Worm. It just has to go for that Jagged
true,
Peak Drake.
yes.
If Aggie makes the right call after Romina to be like, okay, I'm going to go for Dragon Hearts now, this could be a really, really quick diagonal bingo. That might be a very big problem for Swed.
Yes, for sure.
Ooh.
Oh, Aggie taking Romina
Nice.
down doesn't need the riposte. Very nice. And now Sweat is going to see that, and so hopefully he can make the decision here. If I saw this, I'd say I need Devonia's hammer right now because Aggie could be going for it, and if you get that snipe, it's going to be pretty huge.
Yeah, and here he goes. Drops down, gets that tree jump. Going to be going for that grace. Well, Aggie is going to be upgrading the Dragon Katana. He's thinking about dragons. He's definitely going for dragons.
He's thinking about dragons. Ooh, that's scary now. So Swed, yeah, he either has to recognize this and go Rolling Giant Lightning Ram, or Aggie might run away with this.
Yeah, this might be a bingo.
Yeah.
I think once Dragon Hearts are marked, Sweat has to make the choice of either Bale or Giant Lightning. Because Dragon Hearts will be marked by Aggie here.
Yeah, unless Aggie tries to be a little sneaky with it, goes Rolling Giant Lightning Ram first, to then try to sneak both of the dragon ones back to back. But, that might be a little bit on the greedy side, so I do expect he'll do the Dragon Hearts first.
Yeah, I agree. Okay, some nice strafing here, though, from Swed. Going to be getting some R1s. Gets a nice stagger.
Excellent.
Nice. Cancels out the Centaur attack. Is it actually even a centaur, by the way? Like when she turns into like the leg stuff, it actually looks like puma, like puma claws.
Oh, is it? I don't know. I never looked at it that closely.
Yeah, like jaguar claws. That's kind of what it looks like. I'm not gonna lie, like lion jaguar type claws, not necessarily centaur hooves. But there it is. Devonia's hammer now for V-Sweat. Very nice pickup for him. And yeah, Aggie making his way straight towards that Jagged Peak Drake that activates the Egon dialogue for the finger. And Swed calling the dragons now, making his way towards the dragons as well. This is going to be really interesting because if Swed just goes for this Jagged Peak Drake and not the next one, he might be able to kill this one quicker and then the Magma Worm before Aggie can get done with the Jagged Peak Drake double fight for Egon's finger.
That is possible, but he also would then be giving up any progress towards Bale. So, either way, it's a bit of a risk. You could go for the quick Dragon Hearts and say, I just need this line gone, or you could try to get that synergy with Bale, but we kind of know from our perspective, if V-Swed goes for that synergy with Bale, it will bite him because Aggie will definitely get it first.
Yeah, here we have it. First Jagged Peak Drake picked up here. Not picked up, but stagger on V-Sweat's screen. I do think if he does go for Magma Worm after this, it's going to be a huge... Honestly, I think it's a great call. I think not necessarily locking yourself out of Egon, but not prioritizing it, and prioritizing that column 4 is the right play here. Because all you need then is a remembrance weapon and torch. And having then some progression maybe towards that Lamentor torch might not be the worst idea.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. Even if he goes for those 2 quicker ones, I'm not sure he's going to get it before Aggie because there is still travel time to the Magma Worm. It is a fast fight, but, there's no graces right there, so he'd have to get back to it.
I don't know. Yeah, I mean, he almost has this dragon dead here. Going to be going for that riposte already. This should be close to death here for this first Jagged Peak Drake. Well, Aggie still has to deal with the first dragon, the one that doesn't have the health bar.
I'm surprised that did not kill the Jagged Peak Drake there for V-Sweat. That was big damage, not quite enough. One more hit should do it.
There it is.
There we go.
Does he go for the Magma Worm or does he go for the other Does he do it?
Gotta wait.
He's thinking. He's going for the Magma
Dragon's
Worm.
Pit. He's going for it.
Oh, this could be genuinely insane. This could be a huge snipe from Swed. This could be this is interesting.
Yeah, this could be an extreme game changer. If Aggie has spent, all this time on this and all he has for it is the finger to eventually do Bale, that's not that much compensation for it. V-Swed would be ahead in terms of squares. He would have the bigger threat of a line. This could be a huge, huge, huge swing. But Aggie, doing so well with that Dragon Katana.
He's getting that damage now.
I think he's going to get it first. I think Aggie's going to get this first. This will be devastating to V-Sweat if he does.
Oh, he's getting a lot of damage. That other dragon, though, is also, lining up an attack here. He's got to be a little careful. But if Aggie gets another... it's looking really strong
It's
here.
one more stagger, and Aggie's got it. All he's got to do is not die here, and Aggie will take this square first. And a big lead. Only one square, but that line threat...
He's got to be careful. He gets a fire attack from both of the dragons. Okay, I think,
but they're also hitting each other.
Wow, yeah, that's Aggie's. That's Aggie's right here.
Yep.
There it is.
There it is. There it is.
Wow. It was a great call, though, from Swed going for this Magma Worm.
Yeah.
Didn't have the time. Sadly gets sniped on Dragon Hearts here. Loses out on Dragon Hearts.
And he doesn't notice yet. He's still killing the worm. This doesn't get him anything. He hasn't seen.
He's got to quit out right now.
Now he's going. Yep.
Memory of Gracing.
He has to lose so many runes too.
Wow, that's rough. So now it's the question. This is the coin flip I was talking about. Do you do Egon or do you do the Lightning Ram? And here it is. Aggie going straight for that Lightning Ram.
Very, very smart from him. He knows he has to be ahead on that Bale. So going right for the Lightning Ram. If he gets this first, it's his game. This line could do it.
Swed going actually for a Jagged Peak Drake, though.
Ooh, I do not. I don't love this play, but it might work out for him.
He probably is assuming, though, that Lightning Ram is going to be the next best thing that Aggie's going to be rushing for, and I think that's the right call. It gives him enough time to possibly catch up on the Jagged Peak Drake kill, getting that Egon furled finger, and making his way to bail before Aggie even does, depending on how this lightning ram goes for Aggie.
That is, yeah, a big depending on how that goes for sure.
Unless he's going the wrong way.
That
It's
is
not the right way.
He's heading to the lightning ram through this direction. He's heading to the lightning ram.
Oh, I don't like that.
I don't think that is the.
Is it? We could pull up the handy
Actually, it
dandy
might
map,
be.
chat.
I think we might need the map for this.
We might need the map for this one. Let's go ahead and check it out real quick. Here, come on down. Map time. Let's see here. So normally you jump down here, which is Toyolie, then go all the way through the Elac River, which you can see Aggie doing right now, and then pop out here, which is where the lightning ram is, and then Swed going from here all the way around, dropping down here. It looks, distance-wise, very similar.
Mm-hmm. And this gets you more map progress, potentially, towards a torch, perhaps, over at Lamenter and various other things. So I think I like this play. I think I like this path of doing it. You know you're maybe a little bit behind. You got to take maybe a little bit of risk. Hope that Aggie's going for bail, perhaps, and then you can take away the lightning ram. But I think Aggie's a little closer at this point.
Yeah.
Although, how are backhand blades even going to kill that ram? That seems awful. That seems just terrible.
That's
so
exactly what I'm thinking. Yeah,
we'll
that's,
see.
That's what I was mentioning with, like, I don't know how this lightning ram's going to go for Aggie, but blind spot might be the move, although he might just get bulldozed by that lightning
he's
ram.
got the katana. He's got the katana. Yes,
Right,
of
never
course.
mind.
Much bigger reach. It doesn't get the extra dragon effect, but he should be able to hit it. So
Ash of
Aggie
War,
does
too.
have a strong one. Oh, that actually might be huge. If you can catch it from range,
Right.
that could be a lot more consistent.
This is going to be huge for him. Yeah, he goes at, he buffs
Yep.
up. Here's the lightning ram now.
Mm-hmm.
Going to be getting out of that lightning strike range. Swed going to be going for that skip here. Does he get it? He does get the skip.
He does get a big trade. Aggie gets already the lightning ram under half. No, the skip did not work for Swed. He
That's a
landed, but the game did not count it as landing.
Aggie sadly misses that charged R2 versus that ram, by the way. Going to try and set himself up here. The ram does get hit, so it starts freaking out, not going the direction he was planning. And there it is, though.
But he's got it. He's got it.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Oh, Swed just saw it. Oh, this is devastating. I don't know how he can possibly get to bail first from this location.
Yeah, this is looking like a very strong GG's here from Aggie. The diagonal, bottom left to top right. Bale summoning Egon is the last thing left for him. This is definitely a rough spot to be in for Swed. I don't even think if he got
does
that
not
skip.
have anything up there.
Yeah, I don't think even if he got that skip on the first try, I don't think he would have had enough time.
No way. Aggie was definitely just too far ahead and had a very quick kill on the lightning ram. Only took around 3 go-arounds to get it, which is honestly better than most. Swed is going somewhere else. He's not heading for bail?
I'm not sure. I think he just is thinking like maybe it's a bluff, or maybe he's just like, you know what, I have no progression. He has Dragon Hearts. I don't think I can catch up to Bale with summoning Igon. I'm just gonna go do some other squares. I am not too sure.
What is he even heading for here?
Queelan Ballarat?
I don't even see anything that this works for in Ballarat. Queeline. There's
Yeah,
Queeline.
Queeline. And then maybe, I guess, Dancing Lion. You can prep that.
Yeah, Dancing Lion, not on the board.
No, but like
But-
for the Remembrance boss with Remembrance Weapon.
Remembrance
just like
boss with
grabbing
the Remembrance
Grace.
Weapon, yeah.
Yeah.
For sure.
Or maybe even +0. You know, maybe he does a +0
Oh.
backhand blades.
Good luck with that on the Dancing Lion. That
Yeah.
sounds rough. But,
Yeah, no, that sounds
you know.
pretty rough for sure. And sadly, there aren't any bingo lines left for Swed to really pressure anymore either in this case. Versus Aggie. So this is definitely looking like a pretty tough spot. Possible GGs on this one. Really well played though from both players here. Some really good reads. Just that diagonal, just a little bit too late recognized. If not, just pushing those Dragon Hearts just a little too slowly. I think losing out in that Romina definitely kind of set the tone because Aggie was very prepared with Dragon Hearts.
Yeah, Swed was kind of halfway on both. He had a little access to dragons, a little access to Romina, and Aggie ended up getting both. And yeah, it's really hard to come back from that.
I think honestly, so the scenario of Swed going for the Jagged Peak Drake into Magma Worm, if that was flipped to where he actually did go for both Jagged Peak Drakes instead,
he would have had access to Bale faster. Yeah,
right. So
he
I think
could have actually blocked it.
I think maybe if it would have made the call of like, okay, maybe Aggie pivots to Lightning Ram, I'm just gonna go for Bale now. I think they would have played out completely differently, and that would have been very interesting.
Yeah. Also, Swed skipped the Grace here on the way up Bellarat again. So if he dies to Queeline, I don't know what he's gonna do here, but hopefully that will not happen.
He's got it. Yeah, he's doing some really good damage here. Cancels out the heal on Queeline as well. One more R1 should do it. There it is. Queeline and Bellarat is dead for Swed. There it is. 7-6 here now for Aggie. Aggie seeing Queeline and Bellarat, so I think he's like recognizing.
He's got it now.
Okay, I got it. Yeah, I'm good. I'm in the clear. I just gotta take my time on Bale here. Gotta make sure to summon. And let's go ahead and get that sweet, sweet dialogue from Egon while we tune in for this Bale fight. Yo, any Egons in chat?
I always do.
All right. Yeah, dude, Bale, I'm not gonna lie, is a cool dragon.
Yes.
But I
Very
don't
cool.
think he is the best dragon in Souls.
Really.
It's still Midra for me. Sorry, yeah. Not Midra,
Midir?
sorry, Midir.
You know, it's been too long since I fought Midir. I can't remember all of his moves. I got to go back and fight him just so that I can, solve this debate once and for all, because everyone knows my opinions are the correct ones. So
Huge stagger here. Very, very nice.
yes, he'll get a lot of damage. Might even be enough to push into phase 2. It looks like.
It's fine.
Yeah. Yep. There it is.
Yep.
Egon
This is the
shooting his
dangerous
arrows.
phase. Oh, get some good damage on him right as he's flying up.
I don't know if the poise resets completely while he's in the air here, but if he's lucky, he might be able to get some nice damage in early on here and get a nice stagger almost right away.
Yeah, it doesn't always reset, especially if you have something like throwing daggers. You can actually keep his posture up the whole time, but he probably lost a little posture, but probably still has some built up.
Kind of greeting some of those dragon wound slashes.
Oh, yeah.
There it is. +0 weapons, by the way, for V-Sweat currently. Anyone watching that right down there. He is currently doing Dane at +0 with backhand blades. Cold.
Oh.
There it is, a stagger,
This
though,
should
on
do it
Bale.
for Aggie.
Yeah.
Huge stagger. Just take the riposte, and that will end it.
This is going to be a good old Bale kill. There it is. Reach for the skies, Bale. Lightning strike. Boom. Lightning strikes again for Aggie. Gets the dub. There it is. GG's. An hour and 4 minutes. Wow. Yeah, definitely a tough position to be in, especially once that diagonal started rolling. Very, very tough.
Yeah, for sure. It was hard to make that comeback. Once those Dragon Hearts went down, we kind of knew it would be a race to the rolling giant lightning ram, and once that was down, that was it. That was all she wrote.
It's a toughie. It's a toughie. But let's go ahead and see if the players are ready for their posts. I have a one-lane brain. Sorry, I can't talk and type at the same time. Let's go ahead and move into the post screen here, though. And Aggie is ready here. Going to bring him in first. Why is the screen so weird? Hold on, let me fix this real quick. Why is it? There we go. And then there we go. That's better. All right, and welcome on in. GG's, Aggie. GG's, good sir.
Yo, thank you.
Very interesting match. For an hour and 4 minutes, only having 14 squares being marked is a little bit on the lower end. There's a lot of late game on this board. There is also no early game really besides the Blessings of America. So looking at this board from the very beginning, what was your thought process? What was row 2 considered very early on, I'm assuming? And if so, then the pivoting to the diagonal?
Yeah, so yeah, obviously this is a pretty late board, and there wasn't a whole lot of like obvious early game rushes. So I was kind of just heading towards the center of the map, and Blessings of America was on the way. So like by the time I got to Reverman, I'm like, well, I might as well go for this because I anticipated he'd go for talismans, just because I figured that's what usually goes for. So I felt pretty safe in getting that, and then yeah, after that, just going for PC invaders because it potentially combos into like Queeline and Spirit Ashes.
Yeah, yeah. And when it came to, I guess, recognizing that diagonal, was that after the Romina kill, you're like, hey, I could actually push this? Or was that like a bit of a more of a long-term play that you already had in mind with that Dragonheart?
That's actually a bit of a more long-term play. So yeah, after I killed Furnace Golem, I realized both diagonals had like a lot of synergy, and that
Yeah.
if you had advantage on it, they'd be hard to shut down. So I kind of had both of them set up, and then I went for the one that got blocked, so I just immediately went for the other because like doing the masks got me towards Romina already, and I'd already prepped the one Dragonheart, and yeah, like even if Rolling Ram got sniped, the third Tree Spirit was down there. So yeah, it was just a good plan, honestly. It works out exactly how I wanted it to.
Yeah, definitely very, very strong diagonals. I'm going to bring in V-Sweat here as well. We'll talk about the late game here a little bit. Welcome on in, V-Sweat. GG's, good sir.
Yo, GG's, Aggie. Thank
GG's.
you, Domo.
So there was a lot that was going on this on this board. A lot of really good calls from both of you guys here. What was your early game thought process when seeing this board, and then also what was your like mid game thought process after you got that? I would say really nice blocks on those two jails and Spirit Ash synergy play. I actually really liked that play. What was your like whole thought process after that?
After I got, you mean like the jails? I mean, it was like a low
Yeah.
synergy board. Like, I feel like my whole game play was just to get as much map presence as possible, because like I didn't really see like a lot. Like, I guess like the most, I feel like the biggest thing was going to ADM land early, which I didn't do, and I should have done that a lot earlier, I feel, instead of going to the castle. Like, I went to Skadu Tree for no reason, literally no reason. I don't know why I did that. It was so weird. But I mean, like, I guess it was a corner square and it was on the board, but I mean, I think I could have used that time a little better. But
Sure.
honestly, I don't think I had like a really good game plan this match. Like, a lot of the time when I play, I do have a really like, okay, if this happens, I do this, and if that happens, then I'll go do this instead. But on this board, it was really like, it felt a lot like pick and choose one objective and go do it. And it was like a really slow burn of a game. Like, we were at a Wendy's 4-for-4 for like half an hour. Like, it was like a slow burn, dude. It was a really slow.
It was I mean, yeah. Looking at the board right now, like everything else that's left over is all over the place.
Yeah, just like random one-offs. And I mean, the snipes hurt. Like, you know, I was one mask away. That was the game changer, the mask square, for sure. 100% the game changer. And I was close, but I did a bad pathing through there that probably cost me the square, because I went from Church District Main when I already had the water drained. I could have just dropped down from that. I could have got the like, I could have done so many different pathings through there, and I wasted probably like a minute, if not more. And that was the difference. And then, of course, Dragon Hearts, I was in the middle of my second one. And Lightning Ram, I was doing the skip down to it. So, like, once those went up, I was like, yeah, this is bingo. So I'm just going to call his bluff and go do random squares. And then, yeah. I feel like at that point, that's all I had, you know? Like, I don't know. What do you, like, is that, like, I don't know if that's even, like, a play. Like, because, like, I'm sure, like, some people could be that. Yeah, like I feel like some people, like maybe like in my chat or even your chat, would see that and just think like, oh, he's giving up. But it's not really like I'm giving up. It's more like, okay, like he's got a really late endgame square bingo, and it's like, and I know that he doesn't like, and honestly, that's another thing. He didn't know I was even working on Dragon Hearts, so he probably just pushed the bingo because of that, right? Like, because he didn't think I was anywhere near it. So maybe in hindsight, I probably maybe should have challenged it, because he didn't know I was in ADM land at all based on any squares I had. Even though I was in ADM land at the end. But yeah, in hindsight, maybe I should have just pushed bail. Did you have Egon's Finger yet, Aggie?
Like from the second Dragonheart, but
okay, so you did that one. Okay, cool.
Yep.
Cool.
So yeah, when it came to the tree spirits, like I know you picked those up, and then you're working towards also the masks. You never fully completed the tree spirits there. Was that like a line
Tree
maybe though
spirits.
that you were kind of considering at some point when you were doing the tree spirits? Was like a row 3 kind of
I
like
never killed any tree spirits.
I did.
Oh, sorry, Aggie. I'm sorry, did I say the
Oh,
wrong
sorry.
name? My apologies.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. No, good. You're good. You're good.
Yeah, it was mostly for a synergy play and for like an unexpected quick square later down the line.
Okay.
Once I saw him mark 2 jails, I figured that he spent a good amount of time doing that and not really getting a whole lot of map progression elsewhere. So at that point, I thought I had time to, maybe push a few things at once. The mask was like the main thing I was interested in, but like the tree spirits are right there, so I just went ahead and did them. I don't know if it was the smartest thing or not, but
It worked.
it worked out.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was just curious
I
about
do
that because
have
it was
a
lingering
question
there.
for both of you. If why is the killer boss with a +0 weapon? You both chose to like skip that, and
We
I
were
was very
talking
curious about
this
that.
at the start, actually.
Yeah.
It's funny. And when we and Aggie were in our Discord call before the refs came and moved
Ah.
us, we were talking about this square, and I was telling Aggie how much I hate this square. Like overall, I just don't like it. Like I
Ah.
don't
And
like
I was
it in
agreeing with
bingo.
him. Yeah.
I hate the square. I cringe at it every time I see it, and it just wasn't in like a super important part of the board.
Yep.
And I just never did it. That's where I was doing. I just was fighting Dane with cold blades, which was a mistake. I should have went and bought the bleed ones instead. But yeah, no, I mean, I personally I feel like I'm really slow. Because usually the +0, like Mitchell referenced, the +0 weapons on the board and gone off the board in seconds every match, usually.
Yeah.
And because of that, like never contest it usually, because every time I do, I lose the battle. And I'm always behind every time. So like if I see that square, I'm just like eye roll emoji. I'm just like, okay, I'll let them have it, I guess. But that's what I need to practice now. Like now I know I need to, like going forward after today's game, I want to learn fast routes to Dane with like backhand blades for like niche start situations. Because
Yeah.
I feel like a lot of synergy, like early on, if your lines aren't good and your fights aren't clean and you're not set up properly, you're gonna lose those squares.
Yeah. No,
So I feel like
100%.
that's like, instead of just doing practice matches, I really want to like learn those lines a lot better. I think that's what the next thing on my list is.
And when it comes to the square killer remembrance boss, the remembrance weapon, did you guys at any point in time during the match think about like which weapon you might be leaning into and who you'd use that on?
I was planning on doing like Romina on Mesmer probably if I had to.
Okay.
Mine,
Okay.
I mean, if I had to, it probably would have been Gaius's weapon on Romina.
Interesting. Okay. I was really
Yeah.
expecting someone to be like, yeah, I'll go Skadoo Tree because it's on the board, and they use the sunflower on Gaius as like an example.
I don't even know the requirements for that thing. I just assumed they'd be like ridiculous.
It's like faith. and
It's a
strength.
good amount of faith. Yeah.
Yeah, and like it's a big weapon, so I just thought like that's not even like I know now that you mentioned, I think I saw Blanks use that one game, didn't he?
Yeah, you can just use the faith tier to like kind of
It's like a call, yeah.
kind of
true.
fix the faith issue there. But yeah.
Yep.
I mean, that was just
True.
I was just curious because everyone kind of has like their own preferences. So I just wanted to see what you guys were feeling once you did see those 2 squares kind of on the board. If that was
It's not
something that
even
kinda came across.
if I mean if not to cut you off, but if I
No,
had
you're
a
good.
preference, like it would probably always be Gaius's weapon for Lion,
yeah.
and then just use fire.
Yeah.
Just for the
yeah.
Pierce and fire, right? If
Yeah.
there was anything Bellerod on I mean, I guess Queeline was in Bellerod on this board, but again, that was like a one-off. No one wants this square in a bad weak spot on the board.
Yeah.
And I mean, kill a boss with +0s also in a kind of weak spot, but not as weak, but still, it's
That's definitely a difficulty for
important.
sure. Is like having a square like Queeline and Bellerot, the only thing in that area. So like at some point you might have to go for it, but it's such a time sink just to even get there
Yeah,
for a one-off. Like it doesn't
exactly.
progress anything either. So yeah, it's always tough trying to make those calls of like, okay, is it actually worth it for me to even do this? Because I'm not going to gain anything out of this, and it's just way out of my own way. So yeah, it definitely made sense that no one really kind of pushed that early on. Although I kind of like, I wouldn't have been surprised, I guess, if Aggie went for that because he did go for unique NPC invaders and kind of like doubled up on that a little bit. But I guess the travel time is there, and that is a bit of a rushable square. So kind of, risking it, trying to go for that double up might not have been worth it anyways in the long run.
Yeah, that's true. It's fair.
Yeah, killing the other Queeline is just so much more value too because it spawns the more.
Right.
But yeah, I did have that in mind as like a potential like long-term Spirit Ash play if that was still somehow on the board.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah.
Oh, I also, speaking of the Spirit Ash, that was the first time I ever got that skip, and it was today. right there. It was the first time I ever did it, so I was really happy. I don't know if you guys saw it, but it was cool. In Bellarod
Yeah, it
jail.
was-
Oh, yeah,
it
yeah.
was,
That
it was
was really
impressive.
cool.
It-
It's the
we were
first time I've
calling that out.
ever-
We were like, what?
Yeah.
How did he do that?
That's the first time I ever did it, like successfully.
It's
Yeah,
the
that was cool.
yeah. I don't know, Aggie. I don't know if you're aware of it, but pretty much the breaking staircase in the Brawlers jail, you can actually jump past it and make it to the altar, and then pretty much skip the whole jar maze.
Yeah, I've heard of it. I've not seen it
It's
in
hard.
action.
Yeah,
It's
it's the first time I
definitely
saw
not
it too.
easy.
It's really cool. It's actually it saves like I would say like what 15, 20 seconds. Around
Yeah, yeah, I'd say about that.
yeah, definitely a cool skip.
And it's worth trying. It doesn't lose you time trying. So.
Right, yeah, true, because you just fall down anyways. But yeah, GG's on that, guys. Great match today. Thanks so much for playing. Good luck in your future matches. And yeah, I hope you guys have a great rest of your Friday, man. Thanks for playing today.
Thanks
Thank
for having us,
you.
Nomo. Thanks for commentating, Mitch. I appreciate it.
Oh, thanks for putting on a good show.
Yeah.
Okay.
Mitch.
And I hope you guys
5 minutes. There's gonna be so many midges. in
True.
chat.
It's a great emote. Yeah, have a good one, guys. See you guys next time.
Later.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.